Right, guys, we got a update from Sony, the Sony Service Centre in the UK. So they're based in Wales, and basically they've taken my RX10 Mark IV apart. Uh, I sent it in with the initial possibility of swapping the whole lens unit or realigning that front element. So the front element's actually okay apparently, but it's trying to align it is not much point. You know, it's trying to get it. I think they need lasers and certain things like that to get the shims correct and everything like that. So it's probably a massive job, and it's probably not even possible with something like that. But you know, out of the factory, it's obviously built like that, and that's how they're done. But basically, they've taken my RX10 Mark IV apart, had an inspection of it, and come back and said basically they found water inside. Only actually one tiny little area and one tiny little spot of water damage on the main board. I presume it's the main board. I've got a photo and I'll stick it up in the video. But what they're saying is it's 4 years old, and you know, if they were to put a brand new lens on and everything like that, and then the camera dies due to that mainboard damage, I kind of end up with an expensive paperweight, aren't I? And it's, you know, I've already paid out for a new lens and all this sort of stuff. So they've done a goodwill gesture type thing, and basically for the same price as the lens being exchanged, you know, swapped for a brand new one, they've basically sold me a brand new RX10 Mark IV. So it's really good news. I'm very pleased about it. So that's coming. I'm not sure when. Whenever they get it, they've obviously ordered one in, and yeah, so there'll be a brand new RX10 Mark IV coming to me very soon. So that's quite nice. So proof of the pudding is it's a really well made camera, and if anybody's watched any of my RX10 Mark IV videos of where it's been out in bad weather, it's been covered in sand, water, mud, hit by a wave in the sea, all that sort of kind of abuse it's had in the last 4 years. It's never given up a ghost. You know, it's never given up a day. So you know, it's obviously has quite a good weather sealing system. You know, that can deal with quite a bit, and obviously I've used it to probably the extreme and maybe a little bit further, and unfortunately a little bit has got inside, but only, I mean, so when you see in the pictures, a tiny little bit around one of the ribbon connectors. There's a tiny little white area that is where a couple of droplets have managed to get in. I would imagine it's probably seawater, or it's just general water, it's just eventually corroded something. So that's the real world situation of how the camera is built. You know, if you are using your RX10 Mark IV out in the rain, make sure you've got your hot shoe little cap on. That really obviously keeps the hot shoe dry. The other thing as well is if you do end up using, you decide to use it out in the rain, or you get caught out in it, when you go back to your car or when you go back to your thing, don't, before you turn it off, literally extend the barrel to 600mm, take the battery out, and then dry the barrel, the lens barrel, and then leave it. So just to make sure there's no moisture gets pulled back inside the camera. There was never any moisture ever got in that area, so I presume there was a weather sealing on that actual lens barrel itself. So I don't really know how that works, but it's something I've always done, and you know, it just keeps it, you know, a bit dry. I've always, so if it is raining, I'm out. I've always got a couple of cloths in the bag that I can dry the barrel, keep it dried. Even though it's been covered with water, I do wipe it down regularly. You know, so that's one way of obviously keep looking after it, and that's one way I've actually kept it in pretty good condition. Just unfortunate that there's obviously a couple of droplets have made it in, but I have used it way past anybody else's average use in the weather. So really pleased that they've actually dealt with this and they've actually ordered me a new one, and almost like a kind of goodwill. There was basically another option. They said, you know, we can either send it back as a dead camera, basically they don't want to touch it. I understand why, because at the end of the day they've got to be honest. You know, they've taken the thing apart to have a look at it and obviously look at my lens situation, and then obviously discovered an issue. There's a possible, I mean, it still works. The camera was working flawlessly. There was no real issues whatsoever, other than that obviously when I've swapped the lens element, that, you know, it wouldn't focus properly at the further end. So that was the side of things. But obviously they've discovered there's been a couple of water droplets that have got inside and obviously caused this. So they've actually been very honest about it. They could, at the end of the day, it's out of warranty. You know, it's 4 years old. they could have stuck a new lens on it for 650 quid, and they could have left it at that, you know, but they haven't. They've been really good. They've actually said, you know, they've sent me the photo, which I'll say I'll put up on the screen, and been really honest about it. So I've used Sony the service centre a few times in the past. One of my A7R2's shutter mechanism failed, and it spat it out the front basically. And that was because I dropped, well actually I tripped over a barbed wire fence, and it was actually the lower section of a barbed wire fence. It was in the long grass, and I was out on a photo shoot, and I had a 50mm Sigma art lens on, and tripped over, and we were on the top of a bank, so basically on a high piece of ground. Then there was basically a load of rubble, like concrete rubble, broken up hardcore, making a ramp kind of thing going down onto a lower section of ground. And there was a fence, obviously, that had partly fallen down. I couldn't see the barbed wire. I've tripped on it, I've fallen, and the neck straps come over my head, like so. I'm holding the camera, and it's just gone. I've saved myself, and the camera has bounced down this rubble pile, which is probably 20 feet high. You know, it's bounced that far. I had a camera flash on the top of the camera. Somehow it never hit that at all. It was the rotation. It bashed the lens, bashed the camera, bashed the lens, snapped the lens off. The breakaway screws or bolts or whatever in the back of the lens failed, which they're designed to do. So I end up with a camera and a lens. The lens mount was still on the camera body, so I took it off. I then got another lens out. The model I was shooting was amazed that I wasn't pissed off or angry or swearing. I was like, well, can't do anything about it. I must just get another lens. Camera still works. Carry on. So we carried on. Anyway, 6 months later, the shutter mechanism basically failed, and I think due to that massive impact, you know, your shutter mechanism is very, very fragile and very precise. So I think that was the reason. You know, the reason why. The other one I had was, what camera was that? My A900. So back miles ago, a long time ago, the A900 had a shutter failure. I don't really know why. I think it just happened to fail. It was just bad luck, I think. You know, so they were both sent away. Both of those cameras were fixed by Sony Service Centre in Wales. Always been really good. And when that actually the A900 was done, I think there was a tsunami or something back then, 2012 maybe, ish, 2013. I don't know. And they couldn't get the parts. They were waiting for the mirror box. Obviously, that was a DSLR. They were waiting for a mirror box to be available. It wasn't, and they actually offered, the Sony Service Centre offered me a brand new camera. Unfortunately, it wasn't a full frame. It was the A77, I believe. And I said no. I said I'd rather wait. Anyway, they loaned me a camera. So basically, I had the use of an A77 for a while. Wasn't perfect and wasn't obviously what I really wanted, but at the end of the day, it was a camera, and it allowed me to carry on working. So the Sony Service Centre, I know I've had quite a bit of bad flack around the world, so I don't know if anybody else has had any experience with the Sony Service Centres in the UK. The one in Wales I've always sent my stuff to, and it's been very, very good. Like, you know, the message I've had today and the conversations today, very, very, really, really professional and really, really good, you know. And the fact they've gone above and beyond what they really need to has been fantastic. So anyway, there'll be a new unboxing of a brand new RX10 Mark IV coming within hopefully a week. I don't know how long it's going to take. Obviously, it's got to be delivered to them first, and then they'll send it back to me. So, you know, we're just wait and see, really. So really pleased the fact that they've done me one at the same price as the lens swap, basically. Very, very pleased with that. So I was going to spend that much money anyway. So very, very happy on that side of things. So, like I say, leave a comment below if you've ever used the Sony Service Centres. Let me know how you got on. You know, what did you have done? How was your experience? It's just always interesting to know, isn't it? You know, I've seen around the world lots of people moaning about them, but obviously they're dedicated Sony service places, so they're not necessarily owned by Sony. I think they're companies that actually do the repairs for them. So, you know, it's just interesting to see how, who, and what was done. So, you know, anyway, I'll leave it to it. There will be some new videos coming soon. General photography, and also another thing I wanted to say was, I know a lot of people have followed me due to the RX10 Mark IV. I know I'm using the A7R4 at the moment because obviously I haven't got the RX10. But just remember that, yes, obviously you're looking at photos that I've taken with the RX10 ideally, but I'm still utilising pretty much the same settings, the same ISOs and all that sort of stuff, same focus points, whichever camera I use. So it's not just the fact that the RX10 can do this, that and the other, it's more the fact that just the photography techniques don't really change. So I just thought I'd say that out there. It doesn't really matter what camera you're using. I'm still basically taking the photos and obviously loving what I do and this, that and the other, and also experimenting. Obviously they're going to give me different results in some respects, but I just wanted to say that obviously just because it's not an RX10 video, it doesn't mean it's not necessarily worth watching. It might still be able to help people with techniques and things like that if you're interested anyway. So anyway, don't forget to click the subscribe button, little notification bell as well. Got something else coming which might interest a few people. That's going to be about a week as well, so there might be a few videos coming next week. I've been so busy working, it's been bonkers, so trying to get videos out has been quite difficult. Also obviously there's only a certain amount of hours in the day, so by the time I've been out and actually shot and actually then finally sat down, edited the images and things like that, it can take me a little while to actually get the videos put together and then uploaded and everything. So please be patient, just keep an eye out. Maybe have a look at some of the older videos. You might have missed a few that I've done. I know they're not perfect, but I just try and keep it as real as possible. And yeah, I'm just me. End of the day, I'm a one-man band. I haven't got people filming for me. I know sometimes I'm very lucky that I have got someone with me who's shooting with me, or another photographer comes along who does shoot some behind the scenes stuff, which is always nice. Just done a really nice shoot over the weekend. So it was my birthday on Friday last week, so I basically made sure I had a weekend free and basically did a load of stuff, been out a few places, so there's a good couple of videos there coming. Some really good ones actually. A location shoot which was really nice. Amazing location, amazing model, friend Charlene, which you would have seen before in a couple of other videos. And friend Nick as well, another photographer, Sony user. He's got the A1, had an A7R4 as well. He helped me with the A7R4 focusing problem with the 200 to 600 and stuff like that. So really nice weekend, and yeah, another year older apparently. Not that I feel it, but we shall see what I feel like next year. I start getting older and more groany and creaky, who knows. But anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Like I say, don't forget to click the subscribe button, little notification bell as well, and please comment below. Just let me know what you think, and I'll see you soon.